Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast again. I do this every day. Today, they admit UFOs are real. Now what? What's gonna, did anybody even notice that they had said, hey, by the way, while all this other shit was going on, we admitted UFOs are real after, oh no, it was geese and making fun of, ruining people's lives, basically. You're crazy, conspiracy theorists. Well, now they're real. We had another think tank, and UFOs are real. So there's no arguing about it. Well, no, see, the government done said they were real. And then that press conference, it was like long and boring, and they only really, they have better stuff. They've got creatures and alien, just morphing ships, and they probably had their own stuff, UFO. No, you've re-engineered, back engineered some kind of technology that you got from a UFO. Bob Lazar, when he was on Joe Rogan, he said that one of them was an archaeological find. Like they were digging for stuff and they pulled out this, but that means it's old. That, basically it's been buried under stone and rock and sand. And so now what though? What you would think that they would have like some kind of, they put together a thank group or something. It'd be like, say we want to, they come out and go, yeah, they're real. Bye. Just argue and fight amongst yourselves while who's like, don't you think that would be a really big priority to figure out what the hell's going on? If you know they're real, okay, then tell us the rest of the story. Like, what do you have? Like, take us to Area 50, a camera crew to Groom Lake or wherever. Will they? And they did this within the last 2 years when we had all this crazy stuff going on. I need to get a haircut back. But why would they just be all, here you go, just dangle a little carrot and buy, shit. I want to see the stuff. I want to see what they have. Because I've always, no. I've never, even in the early 90s when the UFO was kind of like late 80s, early, it was really popping off. People thought it was crazy. People in my band, my girlfriends, like I'd go to the library and read like every book. And I realized, okay, some are fake, some are real, some are, this is disinformation, this is this. Oh, see, Charlie, you're just crazy. Yeah. Well, I've seen these things. I used to see shit. Haven't saw anything in a while. Last I saw was a big, perfect circle, liquid metal looking thing, huge, above the San Gabriel Mountains, just kind of bobbing around. Then I just see like lights going in and out of the mountain there, all the time. And I've seen things. I saw that night walker or night crawler, whatever they call it, wearing a cape of all things. No arms, little skinny head, had boots on. It looked stupid. It was casting off its own like blue glow. My dog saw it first, and I talk about that in one of my previous podcasts. So I'd seen things. I saw one thing when I lived in Champaign-Urbana that I think was maybe a hologram. Like there was the Chanute Air Force Base right down the road. They said they're going to be testing holograms, and then I saw this big thing, quiet, huge. I come right across my house in the police station and everything. And I wasn't the only one that saw it. Like my neighbors saw it. It wasn't just me. They're like, "Oh, you're great." What about the neighbors? Or what? Mass craziness, mass hypnosis, mass. No. But one of them actually saw it like shrinking and like they were almost like trying to dial it in. Maybe it was shrinking. Who knows? But they said it looked. And I thought, and then I was like, yeah, I heard on the news a while back they're going to do some testing for Project Blue Beam or whatever it was called. They need to let this stuff out. And of course, people have to understand that like when you have technology and you have all this, you can't let it get in the wrong hands, man. People are warmongering, So I get that. You got to hide. especially if you don't understand it. Like, what is this? Again, Bob Lazar said it was like the laying of the hands. Like when they realized that this thing came to life, like you became part of it. And it became part of, you use your mind to fly this thing. That's crazy to think about. Is that where we're headed? The new Chevy Mind, just put your hand on there and it'll think where you want to go, and I don't get it. I don't get that people when they said it's real. Like I was doing something like what this, and I thought that the press conference could have been better. Just kind of like, well, they showed some impressive footage that everybody had already seen though, and I know they have better. And they released some photos of, some Antarctic UFOs coming out of the ocean, like huge, big mile-long things. Who are behind, they didn't say anything. I guess maybe they don't know. Who would it be? Who are these aliens? Where are they from? Like, Zeta Reticuli, or I don't know, somewhere. I'm sure more is about to come out. They have to, just to like get off the news. You would think the media would be like, look, this is money for them. We get paid the clicks we'll get if I'd be interviewing every kind of scientist that agreed with, or whatever, some kind of ex-military. Come here. My dogs. Come here, you. I've been going to war with these fleas. I flea bathed there yesterday. I got this new stuff I got to do today. It's just brutal, man. Fleas. I moved to Illinois, man. The fleas here it just been happening like the last month or so. Just popped off. They're fighters, man. These fleas. We're moving on. Anyway, so we should know more. They should tell us, like, hey, what's going on? I had a friend of mine around here, and we went to the lake, and we were coming back, and we went to this little town, and we went to this river. He was like, yeah, I'm going to show you where I used to fish. And he goes, this is where I saw the UFO. And this river was kind of creepy, had high mud banks and trees on the river, just kind of a, Huckleberry Finn. You just, and people were about to canoe, getting a canoe in that river. Like, huh? How are you going to get back? Is it going to pick you up down It just had a weird vibe, this river. And there's people camping. It was small, like a little campsite, people camping, and he goes, dude, I was here one night and I didn't want to go home. I was just hanging out, beautiful night. And he saw something in the sky first. And streaks of light, whatever. And it started flying around. And then he said he literally came down the river, like right in front of him. He said literally it was like 10 feet from me. This thing quiet, like a cigar-shaped silver glowing, just like right over the water. Just kind of moseying. He said it was doing the speed of the water. Like it was just going with the current, which is even creepier, like put it on current mode, we're here. And then he said by the time it was scary, got back in his truck, here's these cops, these weird cops. Like, did you see anything right off the bat? And he said, no. And I get it. I'd lie too. How would they be there so quick, and how would they know? Were they cops, or what kind of cops were they, UFO cops. And I totally believe the guy, just the emotion about how it scared him. Like, did you miss any missing time or something? No, I don't think so. So they're out there. Oh, and the cops let him go. He said, I didn't see that. What are you talking about? I didn't see anything. Okay, bye. And sometimes it's best not to. Little lies are okay sometimes, just you don't want to be questioned for 3 hours or be on that list or what, I don't know. And we would see, when I used to live around here, pardon me, I used to live in this town that I moved to back in the 80s. And we lived in this house, and it was haunted. I heard stuff, but like what I saw was outside. I saw this ghost. Matter of fact, it was standing in. It had a tree was there at the time, and him and the tree disappeared. And when I went out later on, there had been you could tell where there was a tree had been there, and this was I saw this, a Civil War soldier guy or some Union soldier with a rifle. The strange thing about it, when I saw him, I was in my window looking down at the front yard or across the street with the front, and he reacted to me. When he disappeared, he was reaching for his rifle, like he looked just as scared. We both freaked out. Like he reacted, and he just dissolved, like gone. Some kind of like glitch in time or something. But when I lived in Champaign-Urbana, I saw UFOs, but then again, it was the Air Force base is right down the road. Chinook had a big Air Force base there. And I thought it was a UFO. I ran outside, it was gone. I saw it through the window again, it was coming. I thought an airplane was crashing, but I didn't hear any noise. And these lights through the trees, and then this thing, and it was spinning. One of it was spinning this way, the opposite. It was like and all these lights, and big as like an apartment building. It was a disc, though. It was a disc. By the time I ran outside, it was cold. It was sleeting. I looked up. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any glow. I didn't see. Then later on, I talked to the neighbors, even the neighbors behind me, on the street behind me, and they, like, yeah, we saw it. Some people were like, I don't want to talk about it. All right. One person said they saw it land and then take off. And again, they said it was glitching, like it like somebody was like, I don't know. How would you even say if it was a Project Bluebeam, like you're projecting a hologram? How in the hell would you need a van around or something to project? I mean, I don't know. What would you need? How would you do it? They need to let us know. And I'm sure, and they need to be like with a good helping of, hey, you got to understand, we didn't know ourselves, so we couldn't release this. We have to keep stuff secret because of bad people out there. We get this. I think that, they think that everybody's dumb, but I think that people they don't want to be told what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like people can relate. Like, oh yeah, you don't want to. And this thing could be a bomb if they want to. Who knows? The thing could explode. And I get it. They need to keep some secrets. But now that they've come out and said UFOs are real, like some of this phenomenon is real. Even if they don't know, like say if they're like, we don't know either. Well, get some kind of, again, think tank or a peer-reviewed paper or something, some kind of, commission or 50-person committee to study this. They need something. They need to give us a little bit, let us dip our beak a bit, in that info. Or just release some documents that aren't redacted with all the blackout. Because just the stuff they've confiscated. There's people, and also people that were kind of feeling, I'm sure there's people that have filmed these things or taken pictures, and they're just like, look, man, I'm not going to show this to my wife. I'm going to hide this till I'm older, because they don't want the ridicule of, you're just crazy, Now that people can say, hey, you know what? It is a phenomenon. Sorry, we ruined people's lives. And because they went after, there's Men in Black, and there's all kinds of, maybe they don't even know what they are. Who knows? But there's government that shows up, like my buddy that saw the UFO on the river. How did the cops get there so quick? He just barely got to his truck, like it's there, right, and then they're already, they're there. And some of them, were they caught? What? Who are they? How would they know? Unless there's some kind of secret group that are studying these things or test flighting. I don't know. Maybe they found one and we figured out how to hired some hillbillies. Well, we done figured out how to fly this UFO. Hey, maybe they're test flying this thing they found. Who knows? He said it looked like it came out of a portal in the sky first, and then it was at the river. Bam. Maybe it was observing him. Maybe he got lucky, or maybe he didn't remember the missing time. Maybe he was, even if it's 20 minutes, a half an hour, that's a long time, and that They could, there's no telling their technology. Just beep, beep, scan you, see what's going on with you, and then put you right back there. Maybe that's what gave the time for the police or whoever they were, agents, to show up. Because you wouldn't really miss 20 minutes, half an hour. You would like 8 hours, of course. But if it was just like 20 minutes, half an hour, you might not even remember that you had some kind of missing time. Something might have happened to you. Maybe we need some, look into that. Pay for some hypnosis. Let's take you back and see what actually happened. Would he even want to know? That's another thing. Maybe not. But now it's real. We need people coming forward to say, hey, I saw something. Here's my old VHS tape. I filmed these, And of course, there's going to be every person faking a UFO. And they do. And they have. They're throwing up, hanging something from a wire from a tree. It was a UFO. Pie pans, just glued together, thrown. But we got to weed through all that to get through to the good. Because they have to have some great footage. And they've probably found beings, aliens, grays, whatever they are, or every kind of Nordics looking, just like ones that look like us. They could just like blend in if they wanted to. Maybe that's why they look, we don't know. We don't want to piss them off. But they have to. They got to release more. You just can't come out and go, oh, yeah, here you go. Doggone it, they're real. See, bye. Just have a good, what? Or they just want to like admit certain things and other things they're not gonna. Well, we'll admit it, but we'll see aliens. Who's flying these things? Some kind of a biological robot. Is that what grays are? They're not even the real alien. They're just some kind of, I don't know. I've seen some pretty authentic alien footage, like people film aliens. A lot of that's getting scrubbed though. It's been scrubbed and they replaced it with this CGI. Of course, it's fake. Even then, that's another thing. You want to control the narrative. So if you get you come out and go, yeah, it's real. Say that's, and then you keep on doing your nefarious shit. We already said they're real. Here's another. Not releasing. They should have like a panel or some kind of committee or something and use like, top scientists along with like the community, like people that are UFO people, like that go deep diving down that rabbit hole. They've been doing it forever. A mixture of theologians and this, that, and the other thing, and psychics. And you need all that stuff if you want to do something, find some real shit out. You just can't have like the same type of mindset. Well, we're all caught. No, you need get some of those hillbilly farmers that have like high IQs. They might know. See, again, people won't say. They don't want the ridicule. But if it's cool and they're looking for, well, yeah, they come to my farm. And where I grew up in Tennessee, in Smithville, Tennessee, out past the high school on this old road, I forgot the name of it, there was this old dude, and he had a sign, this wooden sign that he had painted himself. And I'd heard like, oh, he's crazy. Because I didn't even really know what a UFO, and I'd seen, but I wasn't into that, man. I was more into music. I didn't. So one day my buddy and I were like, let's just pull over and read that sign. And we stopped and it blew our mind. He's like, hey, these UFOs and aliens, it's what the sign said, has been visiting my land and they steal my water from my pond or whatever. And that's what powers their ship. Like it was all this rant on this big, huge, it looked like and it was all written together, and then he came out and told us, like, or one of his kids did, somebody. And I was like, what the? I still like, good. Like, I didn't get it. Now it's like, man, I'd love to have talked to him. Because that was ballsy to do back then in the 80s in Tennessee. Like, everybody's all Christian and, you'll be ostracized. They won't. Hey, that sounds like me. Even in the best of worlds, you're just going to be ridiculed. But most of the time, you're just going to be ostracized. People pointing at you, the piggly wiggly. You know, took some balls to. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was tired of them sucking up his pond or whatever was going on. He literally told it was like they come over the and just whoosh, and somehow, how did he know there was power in their shit? I forgot. Maybe one of them came out and told him. I don't know. And we were living a lot of life back then. We were teenagers, and I'm sure we were probably making fun of him too. Like, oh yeah, sure, you know. So it's all around. He lived out off this road. Like it was just foliage on his driveway. You couldn't even see his house or pond. At the edge of he put this big sign. He made himself like this billboard sized and painted like in white or whatever. I'm sure people remember the fact that maybe, is it still there? Is he still alive? Has he made the sign again? Has he, I don't know. People were, if anybody's watching this from Smith, comment, and maybe you know him or knew him, and maybe he was right on the money. Maybe they should have had Robert Bigelow go there and help, just somebody to, Robert Bigelow's the guy that did the Skinwalker Ranch, studied it for the government, this, that, and which there was paranormal, UFO, everything you can imagine. Dog men, you get portals, everything. To this day, there is. They found anomalies underground, hanging in the air that you can't see, these invisible things that only radar can pick up. Like something's up. And it's always been that way. Like the Native Americans told the settler, hey, you can't go, you can't be there. That was, as a matter of fact, we used to hunt that area. We don't anymore. Whatever happened, we go around the long way. We go out of our way to not. And there's some kind of ancient stone structures there that are right below this weird invisible anomaly. I mean, the government studied Robert Bigelow, shit, and he's got government contracts with, like, I don't even know, NASA, everybody. Maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe they need to, they can figure it out. There's people probably dealing with this right now. Farmers, hunters, whatever, hillbillies, people that are out, or even city folk. Just because you think you're living in a city, you're still going to be, I've seen some strange thing in the city. Like there's no woods to hide in. There's just concrete and buildings, and there might be a park, but these things are, yeah. And I think Huxley's right about your doors of perception. You won't see it if you're not open-minded. Your brain cannot even, because there was times when I've been with people and saw like aerial phenomenon, and some of them could see it and we're like, oh my God, mind blown. The others are like, whoa, I don't see anything. It's right there. Like they couldn't see it. Maybe it is doors of perception. Maybe there are people that are, and I got bad eyesight. So I mean, if I can see it, but they had I forgot who it was, either a cop. I was in Pasadena and I was walking my dogs, and other people saw this too. People were out. So you could see the San Gabriel Mountains, like down my street. I lived on El Nido, Colorado. It's going down the main drag. It's this big mountain, houses that go up so far. Then it's just a mountain. Then there's a station up there and towers. And man, there was like this wave of these blue flashes. It looked like something flew out or flew in, or. And we all saw it, and we're like, what was that? And not only that, then this wind picked up. And they were like, oh, that's the El Nino. I think it was a cop. He's like, oh, that was the El Nino that's starting. And those are breaker boxes busting. All at the same time. How you mean the wind is that strong? Yep. Maybe he's right when it's high, because it's high up there. It looks like it's real close. It'd take you 2 days to get up there. Maybe he was telling, I don't know. It didn't seem like breaker boxes to me. And it only happened up on the wild part of the mountain, meaning there is no houses. There is no, there's just like rattlesnakes and bears and cougars and Probably Bigfoots and Dogman. Who knows what's up there? Maybe it was just, panel boxes blowing up. But then over the years, maybe once or twice a year, maybe more, I would see these blue flashes. Sometimes it looked like they went in, sometimes they went out. There wasn't as many. That one, it looked like there must have been like 70 to 100 at the same, just, it was like, damn. And it wasn't even night. It was around like 5 in the evening. The sun was setting, but it wasn't dark when we saw this. And I was walking my dogs a lot. See, that's another thing. Most of the time when I'm just out walking my dogs. Maybe because I'm out more. People are in the house, they're not seeing, and your dogs are sniffing and looking around. You're always, oh, what? When I saw that dog man in Arcadia, the dogs reacted first. That's why I looked over there. And then when I saw that night walker or crawler, whatever the hell, this glowing dude, this alien with a cape, the dogs reacted. Then I look up, and again, I didn't have time to stand there and like, oh, it's standing there and kind of, even with the dog man, it was there. I look down, come back, it's gone. First, it was like I look up, it's a bulging furry mass, this dog man. And then when I look down at the dogs, they're going, I don't want to leave. Look back up, there it is standing with a big head, looked fake, smiling like this weird grin, this huge head that was bigger than its shoulder, like it didn't fit. It was a female too. Again, blink of an eye. Second, maybe 2-3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds at the most. And other people, it was a crowded area. Some people act like they saw it. Some people didn't. So one woman was filming it with her phone. I tried to talk to her, like, let me see. And she spoke Mandarin. I didn't, I don't speak Mandarin. Maybe she was telling me, yes, give me a second just to get my wits and find out how to replay this, but I didn't. I just walked away. My dogs were freaking out, pulling just towards home, like as the crow flies too. They wanted to go through the streets, and I did. I wait for the truck. Usually they want to hit the sidewalk and snip. No, they were just like the quickest path to my place. Wouldn't go out at night. They were. One of my dogs is still scared of the nights. Like she doesn't like anymore. She doesn't like to go out at night anymore. Maybe she's right on it. Sometimes she would, and sometimes I know she's got to go. It's like, hey, you went out, and like you gotta, because you're not going to wake me up at 3 in the morning. You see, that's another thing. These dogs, they're like, oh, I'm going to go out, and then at 3 in the morning, they're like on you. Like yeah. I'm surprised I haven't seen more stuff. But I think that we should be questioning. What should we do? Write our senators or representatives? Maybe that would help. If people spoke up, pardon me, that's what's going to have to happen. People are going to want to demand. See, we need to know. It's our right to know. Again, if there's some stuff technologies you don't want to get out, we get that. But you got to give us a little bit more. You can't come out and say, yep, they're real. So bye. And then the people that you used on your that could have been a better press conference. You could have used better people. Again, human element. Bring up some of these people that find that dude or his son that they were stealing his pond water or whatever. If that was happening, he had to think, well, let me get a camera. I bet he has footage. Or maybe they took it. Who knows? Or release the footage you took. Release the shit release the good stuff. You got it. There's film, there's pictures, there's relics. There's, again, if Bob Lazar is telling the truth, there's archaeological finds. They dug up this huge UFO and then cleaned it up, I guess, and then got it to fly. He said it was just hovering there quietly. Wouldn't that be crazy? We find all that. Maybe that's what they're doing in Antarctica. They're just finding all this stuff in the ice. And he said it was in the desert, though. They found this UFO digging for, I don't know if they got an anomaly from a beep, beep, something. And they, that had to be a big excavation to pull out this UFO, and probably scary. Who's going to touch it first? Who's going to go in? I don't know. So what do we know? I mean, hell. Then you have the people signed like some kind of secret dog. I can't, MDA, I can't, I will never speak about it. Now that they've admitted it, they need to come out. They need to tell us, like, hey, what's going on here? We don't know, but this is what we do know. That's what we want. We want at least that. Like, hey, we got some, all right, we had to, but here we go. Here it is. Here's a website or multiple websites. I'm going to crash it, and then we'll release this to the media, just kind of trickle it out. Just get people used to what's going on. And maybe they will. Maybe they are. But they're taking no, they need to speed it up. Look, I do this every day. Thank y'all. Be here back tomorrow. Be blessed. Cheers.